G'day everyone, it's Warren from NQ Explorers. Today we're going to do a bit of alluvial gold prospecting up here in the river system. Plenty of water here today, and I bought my little rocker box, so we're going to do some of it the old-fashioned way. So let's hope we get a bit of colour around the place, but whatever happens, it's always a great day out. Beautiful countryside, lovely fresh water, nice and cool down in here. Thanks for watching. Right, you can have the best gear in the world, but you've got to know where to find the gold. You've got to be in a gold field for a start. That's self-evident. That's where I am now. This is a gold-bearing river. When you're in this area, come to it in this situation where I'm at the end of the dry season, the river's pretty low. If you can come here in a flood, it's really interesting because you can see where the river floods and which areas that the flood waters infiltrate when the river is high. That's where you're going to find gold up on the benches on the sides of the river. Now, if you do your research, you can go to all the traditional places to find gold. You're downstream of your obstacles, inside bends, low pressure zones where particles in suspension, such as all the fines in the riverbed and the gold, the fine gold, it's in suspension in the flood. When you hit a low pressure zone, the heavies drop, and they drop straight to the lowest point in the riverbed at that spot. That'll be your gold and your black sands and that kind of stuff. Traditionally, like I said, inside bends, downstream of big boulders, that's a low pressure zone where the water slackens, the water slows, and it drops the heavies, the concentrates that are in suspension in the floodwaters. So look for obstacles, big boulders, large trees, tree root systems, where you can see a concentration of wash and sands where it's built up during the flood times. That's the best place to sample and your best chance of getting some fine gold out of the creek. Right, here's a good example of what I was just talking about. Big boulder. Actually, this isn't a boulder, it's bedrock, which is even better. What we've got here is a slot, a natural riffle. It's perpendicular to the flow of the river. So in the flood, water surging over the top of this rock, all these particles in suspension, that's all your sands and your gold and your black sands and your heavies and your fines and all that sort of thing. Here we've got a low pressure zone because the water slackens as it drops over the rock under the current. And all the gold and the heavies will drop down in this slot. As you can see, it's been dropping quite a bit of wash in there. It hasn't been cleaned out for several floods. So I reckon it'd be worth, I'm going to clean this out and pan off what I can find. Important thing is you've got to get right down deep inside that crack because the gold's going to be right down the bottom. You've got to clean the bottom out. No use just scratching around, taking a bit of gravel off the top, you get nowhere. You've got to be in the bottom of the hole as far as the gold can penetrate, preferably on bedrock. Often you get a false bottom, like you do in this area, where there's a blue-grey clay and the clay might hang up in that false bottom, and more often than not there'll be nothing on the bottom. But you'll get to know the country as you work it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sieve all this stuff through this classifier, fill up a bucket, then we'll take it down to the river and pan it off and see if we get any colour. This is a deep little hole actually. Yeah, it's going to be beauty. It's worth getting into these awkward spots to work this sort of stuff because this is where the gold's going to be. It's a classic gold trap. I'm not saying I'm going to find gold, but I'm maximising my chances of getting gold. This hole actually runs back into the bedrock, so it's a really good spot. The gold could be, the heavies would be running down into that low pressure zone like I was saying, and then back up under this really protected spot in here, so all the heavy stuff will be down and it's just smooth bedrock in the bottom, which suits us.
She's a definite little pocket.
Yeah, great. That one's even deeper than the other one, mate.
Same flow as the
way
the water comes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's this is a big chunk of bedrock. It's probably 30 metres long, so the water will be boiling over this in the floods. Right, we're breaking out the rocker box. I haven't used this for a while. It's been languishing in the shed. Love using this old style of finding gold. So I've got a nice bucket of gravel here that we got from that hole earlier on. I'm going to put this bucket through the rocker box and then we'll clean it up with a gold trap pan and see what colour we get. So this is a little half-scale job I built about 10-15 years ago. It's only 2 feet long. I've got some plans for an actual California rocker box that was a 4 feet model. This is a half-scale job. I designed this for prospecting and carrying around, and it's easy to transport in the back of the Land Rover. So pretty simple operation. Got a little sieve hopper I've already sieved this gravel down to 10 mil. Then I've got the classic rocker box, the backward angled riffle mat with some galvanised wire on there. Then it comes down the main, the base of the box, more of that marine carpet. Then I've got a couple of panic bars on the end so that it doesn't blow out and I lose the gold off the end. That rarely happens, but I get some nice concentrates in those panic bars. So anyway, just a matter of agitating it like the old timers did. Here's my dipper, I'll use this for the water, and we'll get cracking. So it's just a matter of load the pan up, the hopper. No need to overload it, but some of this material is in a thick grey clay, so I'm just going to make sure I break that up, because otherwise it'll scurry it right through the box. So we'll get cracking on this. Well, it's working nicely now. You can, the hopper's agitating nicely. You can see the fines are coming down the mat. Not too much water, I don't want to wash it and flood it. See the fines washing off the top now into the stream. More gravel. Then I'll tip the oversize off. I've got about a 6 mil galvanised wire in here, so anything over 6 mil won't go through the box. I can actually probably increase the angle on this a bit because it's not, the material's not running out properly. Okay, I've got a better angle on the box now, it's flowing a bit better. Got to keep the water up to it. There's my oversize. No gold in there, I didn't throw any gold out. We'll just keep feeding it with gravel, and then I'll wash the mat in a bucket, and we'll clean up with the little pan. So the principle is the hopper slides backwards and forwards. It sieves the gravel onto the slanted mat, and then all the material runs down the back of the box and then along the main channel and out the front. And the oversize stays in the oversize stays up in the hopper, and the fines get washed out the toe. Right, I'll put about 10 kilograms, I'd say, through that rocker box of sieve material. That's what's left of the oversize. So, the theory being that this mat, the back angled mat, will catch the larger pieces of gold, and the smaller pieces will run down on the main floor of the box and be in that marine carpet there. And I'll have to clean that panic bar out because that's going to be a lot of stuff in there. Because if I don't get the water flow right, you may find that your gold's still in suspension and it sort of it wants to leave the end of the box. That's why I put that panic bar there. That's just a matter of technique, getting your angle right and your water flow right, which isn't easy with a dipper. That's why people move on to sluice boxes and high bankers, I guess. But I love this old timers style of prospecting. So we'll clean this up and we'll pan it off in the gravity trap pan. Right, I've got a bucket of river water here. First thing we do is take out this reverse baffle, wash that in there, agitate it, get all the fines out of it, and any of the heavy materials will fall to the bottom of the bucket in the water. Visually check it, see there's no half-ounce nugget stuck in it. It doesn't appear to be. Now, I'll take the base carpet out of the box. Being careful not to lose any of this. It goes in the bucket. Now we've just got to invert that in the water so that anything trapped in that marine carpet, in the ripples of the carpet, falls into the bottom of the bucket. So I've got all these, I'll have all these concentrates that I can pan off with the gravity trap pan once I've washed all this gear off. Now make sure you give this a good rinse when you're working these gold mats, because you want every little piece to come out. Okay, that's the base mat from the box. Now I'll just take the box off the cradle off the frame, and then what I'll do now is wash these fines out of the bottom of the box. So make sure we get a lot out of the bottom. Anything that's worked its way up under the carpet. And that panic bar I was talking about earlier on. Put a gravel out of that. There'll be, you can see, I can see the black sands coming out of it now. Okay. That's about it. All those panic bars are clean. And so what I've got in this bucket of muddy water now is all the concentrates that have gone through the box and that were collected on the mats and on the ripples. So we'll pan these off now with the gravity trap pan and see if we've got any colour. Righto. Okay, well we've panned down to the fines now. We've got rid of the lighter concentrates that were in the bottom of the rocker box. Just keeping the pan agitated, letting the fine stuff float off. Pretty soon we'll be down to the good gear in the bottom, which will be black sand concentrates, and we hope a little bit of colour. Not too much clay in this now, it's just nice and sandy. Got to keep it moving, keep it in suspension, make sure you agitate it enough, but not too much. You don't want to throw any gold over the top, although that's not, you'd have to be unlucky to do so with these ripples. And just keep the material moving and the gold will sink to the bottom. Okay, well here's my first pan from that crevice. I've got a couple more to go. As you can see, got some nice colour there. No life-changing size pieces, but I've got 4 decent flakes there, and there's a lot more in the black sand. It's a lot of really fine stuff, which shows you how much is still coming down that river. You can see the gold there. There's some nice pieces there actually. Now that just shows you how good this pan is. It's very easy to use. Nothing goes over the top of those riffles. Lots of heavy black sand here, and these nice little pieces here, so that's great. Well, there's a lot of tiny gold in here. There's probably 4 to 5 larger flakes. So I've got the guzzler here. I'll just suck it up with that. It's a matter of expelling the air from the guzzler. There she goes. Got some black sand with that, but it don't matter. Getting all the smaller gold flakes. Get the air out and then suck that one up. Okay, I've got the, there's another one over there. I can probably pick that one up too. There's 2 here. Okay, that's all the visible stuff. Well, there's more visible stuff, but it's very tiny. And I'll thoroughly wash those mats when I get home, because all this really fine stuff will be in the mats, but I'll transfer it from the little gold guzzler bottle. There's a great little bit of kit into the vials, the gold vials, for storage. So yeah, that was good.